Good morning. Good morning. As you get here, make sure that you say hello and let me know that you're here. Those that have been around for a while, you know the drill, right? All right, I'm going to be hitting live in all the places, so give me just a moment. Or as my friend Christine says, hold please. All right, now let's go on to the next window. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right. Getting it going. All right, let me pull this up on my phone. All right. We are set. So let me have a sip of my coffee. And my allergies are a little crazy right now. I think, they've been saying that the air quality here is really bad right now because of the wildfires in Canada. Um, but I can feel it. I can't smell smoke. Of course, my sister can, but I can feel it. So if I may have to mute myself a little bit if I end up having some coughing going on. But thank you for being here. And like I said, as you get here, say hello. Let me know that you're here. And there's someone or several people that are watching and not saying anything, and that's okay too. But just know that you are appreciated. I'm glad you're here. And I'm going to get started. Hello, Sandra. Hello, hello. I see you over on Instagram. Thank you for being here. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and share my affirmation. Give me just a second. All right, our affirmation for the day is I am the author of my own story, confidently choosing my path and releasing outdated beliefs that no longer serve my growth. Because that's the thing that holds us back. Not that we don't know enough, not that we haven't finished enough, that we're not doing enough. It's the outdated beliefs. That's the thing that holds us back. So I'm curious. How do you feel about that? And, I guess I'm in this author of your own story thing a little bit more because, I've been doing some writing. I've got my book out on Kindle, which is just a little fable, but I love it. And so far, everyone who's purchased has loved it as well. I've got to go and check and see how many people have purchased the book. I haven't done that yet. And, how if I'm getting some reviews, because I've asked people to leave reviews. But I've even had people reach out to me and tell me how much that they loved it because it's a fable of the entrepreneurial journey, the journey of our life, right? And how things show up to kind of sometimes sidetrack us into doing something that's comfortable instead of the thing that's going to help us to get where we want to go. And so as I was writing that story, and then when I tweaked it so many times, I changed the title, I changed some of the characters, I just did a lot of things. But when I finally got it up there and I thought, okay, this is it, this is solid, this is where it's going to stop, I'm not going to tweak it anymore and everything. I'll read it sometimes and think, oh, I should have added this. But then am I doing that for my own story? That's the thing. And so I want to ask you, are you being the author of your own story, or are you letting what somebody said a long time ago, creating those limiting beliefs, are you letting that run the show? Maybe you're letting your 5-year-old self that was dealing with 5-year-old stuff and maybe even some adult stuff, but from a 5-year-old's perspective. Is that the one that's running the show? We want to be the author of our own story. choosing our path and just letting those outdated beliefs that don't support us, that don't help us get where we're going, we want to get rid of them, right? We want to leave them behind. And sometimes that takes a little bit of extra work, right? It's not like you say, okay, I'm not going to think that anymore. And then you don't. That's not how this world works. That's not how our brain works, our subconscious, especially, because even if we're in a place where we're miserable as hell and we are looking for a solution, we're trying to get somewhere else, we have these aspirations of something that we've just not been able to make work. Even if you're there, and I'm not saying you are, but even if you were, the thing is that your subconscious thinks, well, they survived that. I don't need to change it. Let's stay here where it feels known, not so much comfortable, but it's the known. Because when you step out of your comfort zone, it can feel very uncomfortable. It can feel intimidating. It can be scary because we don't know what's going to happen. And your subconscious mind really doesn't want to do that. So we have to really work to make sure that we're allowing our subconscious to see that that's the better place to go. And so it takes a little work sometimes. I help people with that all the time with hypnosis and with the coaching, right? But hypnosis really powers it up. So I'm asking, are you the one that's choosing your path? Are you the author of your own story? And remember, anything that comes after the words I am are ultra powerful. So this helps to begin that transition of letting the world dictate what you do. Letting somebody make a comment. Let's say, for instance, you go live and somebody says something in the comments that feel like, "Arr." And then all of a sudden you think, well, I don't want to do this anymore because that didn't feel good, right? So you decide how you want this to play out, but claim this as your I am statement for today. Because like I said, anything that comes after the words I am are so powerful. And it is like your subconscious mind starts rolling through the databanks. Well, let me see if I can find some evidence of that in the past. But let me, more than anything, let me start looking for it out here. So you get to decide. But it's like I said, it's not always easy to make that decision and act on it. We can decide things all day long. We can choose. But ultimately, there is some type of inspired action that comes if you're open to it. But you still have to do the inspired action. And the thing that I've learned over the years is that sometimes I've had people in my life that I wanted for them so much, and I would try to help them so much, but they didn't want it enough to do it for themselves. And I can't do it for them, right? So it's, what are you doing for you to make sure that you are deciding and choosing and acting on what you said you want? So if you want to check out my book, it is The Light Beyond the Map by Vicki Poole. And it's on Amazon, Kindle. You can get the book. It's only $9.99, but it's a really, really beautiful. I love the illustrations. I had the help of AI to create that. I had Manus AI to do my illustrations. I created the first one on Canva, and then I couldn't seem to make it work to create other ones that were similar. So when I put that into Manus with my book, it came up with some beautiful illustrations. So definitely check it out. And the first 5 people that purchased the book, today from the group, I'm going to give them a special audio, little mini hypnosis audio to go with it. And so as soon as I see that you've bought, you can message me, direct message me. You can say something in the thread of comments. You can make a post in the group, whatever you want to do. But as soon as you make your purchase, definitely let me know. And then I'll make sure that I send this audio that I created to support you in this journey and support the story of your life, right? So, like I said, our affirmation is I am the author of my own story, confidently choosing my path and releasing outdated beliefs that no longer serve my growth. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and grab our journal prompt. All right. The journal prompt is, what old limiting beliefs are you ready to release today? And what empowering truth will you choose to embrace instead as you step boldly into living life on your own terms? Now, I titled this, what was it? Are you ready to release? Because you have to be ready, right? A lot of times we say we want to do something. We think it would be nice to do something, but we're not really ready. And so you have to kind of evaluate where you're at, how painful it is where you are. If it's not, then you may not be ready. But if it is, then you have to decide, is it painful enough for me to step into something unknown outside of my comfort zone and step boldly into living life on my own terms? Like, I had a conversation just the other day with Sue, where she was asking me a lot of different things. And one of the things that she asked me was, well, why did you start this journey anyway? What happened? And so I thought, well, I thought I had talked about it, but obviously not. But anyway, the reason I started this journey that I'm on right now, not just the affirmations and the journal prompts, but just being a coach, which is how I started. But I was at a place in my life where I had been a yo-yo dieter my entire life. The first time I went on a diet, I was in the 3rd grade. And so I wasn't fat or anything, but for whatever reason, I thought I needed it. And I would think I was mirroring my dad. My dad was always on a diet. My mom was very thin, but my dad was always on a diet. He was always doing some kind of drink or some kind of thing to lose weight. And so I was just doing what he did, I guess. So I don't know why I felt that way, but I did. And so that's how I started. But by the time I became, what was I? Oh, hell, I don't even know how old I was. But by the time I became an adult, I had put on some significant weight. And when I was married to my second husband, I got really, really large. And it became a point of contention with us, right? And when he passed away, I ballooned up even more, but I was an emotional eater. So I ate everything. If I was happy, I ate. If I was sad, I ate. If I was upset, I ate. So food was the drug of choice for me. So I was not a drug addict. I was a food addict, and I ate my emotions. But I finally said, I've either got to make peace with this body, this fat, and just say, okay, just let it be. I'll do whatever, I'll keep getting bigger if that's my job or whatever. Or I've got to figure out a solution because this is not working. It hasn't been working for years. And so I started searching for something. I went on a journey then looking for, how can I make this decision? So I thought first thing I needed to do was figure out if there was a solution, if there was a way to change how I was doing life, because I've been doing it for so long, right? And as I was looking, I came across it was called Health Coach Institute. And one of their claims to fame was that they could help you with creating new habits. So it wasn't that you just went on a diet, you changed. And I thought, that's what I got to do because I've been dieting forever. So diet's not the answer. I've got to make a change. So I was going to, in the beginning, I was just going to hire one of their coaches. And then I thought, well, wait a minute. I know me. I might start and then not finish because I had this limiting belief about I don't finish things. And I've since learned that is not true. But that was my belief at the time. And so I decided, well, if I spent, because it wasn't cheap, if I spent all this money and I committed to a year of my life of doing this process, maybe that was the ticket. And so I began that journey. And I had, after I signed up for the course, and I started, we did skills labs where we got together and everything, and we would coach each other, right? And we had certain things we were supposed to coach on depending on where we were in the lessons. But every single time I would be sitting there crying uncontrollably, snot rolling out of my nose, tears out of my eyes, and tissues here, the whole time. And it wasn't comfortable. But man, oh man, did it change me. And the more I changed, and I continued with them, I became a life coach, a master transformational coach. I did a lot of things before I became a hypnotist, right? The thing was that I learned that it had really, really changed me from the inside out, and how valuable that was for me constantly living in this perpetual back and forth motion of I can do this for a while and then I can't. I can do this for a while and then I can't. And I was so tired of it, so tired of it. And it changed. That it was something valuable that I wanted to offer to other people too, because it changed me, and it was uncomfortable as hell as I was going through it, right? And then you may not be uncomfortable as hell as you're going through it. It depends. But who the hell cares if you can get on the other side and be changed and not have to constantly be battling your internal side? But that's how I started. I started at that place. And it has changed and morphed over the years to where it is so amazing. And I feel amazing inside my body, even though I still every now and then have these little twerks of my body image, right? Because it was ingrained forever. And so I'm really working on that now. Because as Donkey in Shrek always says, we are the proverbial onion. So as we peel back a layer, there's another layer to be seen, right? So let me go back. I've just gotten way off track here. Thank you for being patient and being here with me. I appreciate you. So I'm going to go back to the affirmation. I am the author of my own story, confidently choosing my path and releasing outdated beliefs that no longer serve my growth. So you put that on your index card, the screensaver on your phone, your sticky notes, put it on a piece of paper and stick it to the fridge. Just put it somewhere that today you are reminded that this is who you choose to be. All right. And now we're going to go over to the journal prompt. And as I always recommend, get out your notebook, your journal, write down the date, the affirmation, the journal prompt, and then say them out loud. Give it feeling, give it emotion. And then you have your timer set for 10 to 15 minutes, whatever's convenient for you or available to you. It's not always convenient, but what's available. And then set the time, get the timer started, and then just close your eyes and just start breathing. And just relax and breathe and let all of that information that you just said out loud just kind of percolate in there. And if your mind gets really busy, which it will sometimes, just come back to your breath, because what we're wanting to do is we're opening up our ability to hear that little tiny voice that is going all the time, always wanting to get your attention, but the noise is so loud you can't hear it. And it's that inner guidance, that intuition, that God voice that will lead you if you allow it. And so I kind of think of it as people who have tinnitus, they say that the ringing in their ears is so loud that they can't hear anything else. And if you're one of those people, I do have a hypnosis on YouTube that is about tinnitus, so you can go check it out. So my YouTube channel is at Vicky Sue Poole, and there's other hypnosis things on there as well. So check them out. The thing is that when you can get yourself to just focus on your breath and just quiet that noise just enough, you can hear the gentle whisper of your God voice, the intuition, the inner guidance. And then when the timer goes off and you start writing down what old limiting beliefs are you ready to release today, you might be really surprised at what limiting beliefs kind of pop up. Things that you didn't even realize were a limiting belief that you had. I know I've done this before and then was just blown away with what was showing up. And sometimes when it shows up is I'll think, well, I've got this. I know how to do this. This feels good. And I can start taking an action. And then suddenly something will pop in my head. Ooh, limiting belief. I knew you were there. And I'll write it down because I want to make sure that the things that are pushing me and pulling me in my mind and in my body are supporting who I choose to be, not who I've been in the past or who I've thought I was in the past, or things that people had told me in the past, right? So just write out as much as shows up for you. And then now that you've gotten a list of limiting beliefs that you're ready to release, and you write them all down, but you might not be ready to release all of them, and that's okay. It's a process. Remember, a 1% change every day creates exponential growth. Small hinges swing big doors. Just begin. And then what empowering truth will you choose to embrace instead? So you have a limiting belief that maybe it's rich people are greedy. Maybe that's one of your limiting beliefs. So hell, you don't want to be rich because you don't want to be greedy, right? It doesn't sound logical, but your brain, your subconscious mind says, whoa, let's make sure that they don't get to this level because they're going to be greedy and they don't want to be that. So what would you put in its place? So for me, because I used to feel that way, for me, it's that instead of it, rich people are greedy, it is that, or they're evil, whatever it may be, right? It's that rich people are who they are, and they would be that person whether they had any money or not. All money is a magnifier. Whatever your personality is, it just shines it bigger. So I feel like if rich people are ugly and snotty and, condemning others, they were probably that way when they didn't have a dime to their name because they were just assholes to start with, right? So money is a magnifier. So I choose to look at it that way because it is true. I mean, because someone who acts a certain way when they got a lot of money, it just means now they got enough money that they care even less about what people think about it, or that it actually magnifies it to where they're doing it at a bigger scale, where it was tolerable. People tolerated it when they were without money, but then it just kind of grew, right? So just recognize what those limiting beliefs are. And then how can you switch them? So each and every one that you're ready to let go of, just give it a whole new empowering truth, because all of those limiting beliefs lie in a lie, because they're not your truths. They're truths that you've been given, that you've adopted for whatever reason. But it's time to release and let go. So if you need help with that, definitely reach out. I'll be more than happy to help you. But this is where you begin. You begin by writing them out, bringing them into the light so that you can see them. And then you can actually make a logical choice and look at it and say, is that really true? Is that my truth? Because even if you feel in the moment like, yeah, that's true for me, you can choose to change it. You get to choose. This is your one and only life. I mean, depending on what your beliefs are, but for right now, this is the one you're in. Make the best of it. Live it to its fullest. Have fun. Enjoy life. Start letting go of all those old limiting beliefs that hold you back. And this is your opportunity to step boldly into living life on your own terms. Are you ready? Are you ready? Because only you can decide. Nobody else can do it for you. Only you can decide. All right. So I'm out of time. It was great to be here with you today. I appreciate each and every one of you, those that are just watching in the background and those that watch live, the people who show up for the replay. I love each and every one of you. And I can't wait to do this with you again on Friday at 9 a.m. Eastern. And who knows what we'll be talking about, because it always happens to be something that's going on for me. Go figure, right? And hopefully it touches you and helps you in some way as well. All right. So have an amazing day today, embracing and boldly stepping into living the life, your life on your terms. And I will see you Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern. Mwah. Love you guys.